The Rift opens, Part 1. The living waters flow. From the valleys of Israel, through Ethiopia's funnel, across Kenya's plains and into Mozambique's seas, the great rift trembles again. It is not destruction, but restoration. The earth realigns beneath the Father's command. Ancient rivers awaken. The heartbeat of creation rises from the dust. Isaiah 18:1-3 says, "Woe to the land shadowed with buzzing wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia." Nairobi hums with life. Wings glint under the sun. Eagles descend to feed from humble tables. The skies pulse with praise. From Mount Kenya the banner is lifted, not of conquest but of light. A signal to the nations that the Heavenly Father's fire rises again from Africa, pure, steadfast, seen from afar. The land once shadowed by wings becomes the land covered by glory. The rivers beneath carry his healing. The birds of the sky carry his message. Ancient oral traditions tell of the river Sio, fed by waters from the rift around Mount Kenya. Unseen channels flow from Kirinyaga, the mountain of light, through to Lake Victoria, and also to the Tana River, carrying the Father's heartbeat through the earth to the Indian Ocean. The Nile links Lake Victoria with the Mediterranean Sea. These are the living waters spoken of by Ezekiel, the same breath that once hovered above Eden, now moving through Africa's spine. The rift. In Psalm 68:31 it says, "Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands to the Heavenly Father." And in Isaiah 11:11-12 we read, "He will set up a banner for the nations and assemble the outcasts of Israel." The rivers of Cush and Egypt tremble, for the living waters reclaim what corruption once defiled. Mount Kenya, the throne of light, where the spirit of both Yeshua and the Father dwells. Streams descend like threads of covenant. The ancient Kikuyu tell of a mountain that glowed with his presence. They called it Kirinyaga, the meeting place between heaven and earth. The ark once journeyed from Jerusalem to Ethiopia and then to Kenya, hidden among the righteous until the appointed time. Now the same rivers that carried its memory stir again, awakening the covenant through living waters. They told us Eden was in Babylon, between the Tigris and Euphrates, the empire of Nimrod's rebellion. But Genesis says, "Now a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it parted and became 4 riverheads." A river that divides into 4 cannot begin in Babylon, but there is a land where rivers still flow outward, north, south, east and west, rich in gold. Beyond Cush, filled with holy mountains. It is the greater Rift Valley in Kenya, the spinal artery of the earth, where Eden once breathed, and where the living waters rise again. From Mount Kenya to Lake Victoria, from Ethiopia to Mozambique, this is the land where the tree of life once stood, and where it will stand again. The river now flows to wash away Babylon's sorcery, to uproot Nimrod's false thrones, and to water sanctuaries of the obedient. The rift is restored, and Eden was never lost, only hidden, until now. From Ethiopia's funnel to Kenya's eastern gate, the waters move south, toward the sea door of Mozambique. Each current bears witness that the covenant was never lost. Ezekiel 47:8-9 says, "Then he said to me, this water flows toward the eastern region, and when it reaches the sea, its waters are healed, and everything will live wherever the river goes." The breath of Yeshua moving through his body, the earth itself. Revelation 5:13 says, "Every creature in heaven, on the earth, and under the sea sings, blessing and honor and glory and power be to him who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb forever." The Elijah mantle has returned to realign the earth, to restore the law written upon hearts, to raise righteous leadership after the order of Aaron, and to rekindle the light that governs times and seasons. As written in Psalm 68:16, "Why do you fume with envy, you mountains of many peaks? This is the mountain which the Heavenly Father desires to dwell in. Yes, the Heavenly Father will dwell in it forever." Mount Kenya, is that mountain? From Africa's heart, Lake Victoria, the waters surge north as the Nile. Africa alone is crossed by both the equator and prime meridian, the meeting place of heaven's geometry. It is as though the Father pressed his thumbprint here, marking the center of the earth, the source from which the breath of life moves outward, calling nations back to covenant. Once the Nile was the river of bondage, the cradle of pharaohs and fallen gods. Upon these banks, these fallen angel gods who bred with humans, creating giants, built monuments to themselves and sacrificed to serpents. As written in Genesis 6:1-2, when men became many in number on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of the heavenly Father saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves, whomever they chose. But now the current reverses. Living waters from the Father's mountain flow upward, cleansing the artery of the earth. Where death reigned, life now pulses again. The Nile that bore the cries of the enslaved will now carry the songs of the delivered. At the sea's edge, the current strikes Nimrod's stronghold, the rebel who taught men to build with blood, to crown themselves as gods. He was born of the giants, fallen hybrids who defiled the 31-degree line, later mimicked by Freemasons and witch doctors. But now the living waters rise to confront Egypt's counterfeit artery. I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, says the Heavenly Father. From the rift to Mozambique, fallen structures wash away. The age of false builders ends. The time of the living temple begins. Beyond Mount Kenya, the waters turn eastward into the Indian Ocean, a sea long ruled by Leviathan. Beneath those waves lie thrones of fallen watchers who taught forbidden knowledge and demanded worship through fear. They hide behind technology, governments, and false religion. Yet when giants rise again, do not fear. As Joshua faced them in Canaan, so will the people of the great I Am rise and overcome. For the sea remembers its maker. When the living waters touch the deep, illusions collapse and the tide obeys the voice of Yeshua. The same waters from the sanctuary reach distant shores, Phuket, Taiwan, China, lands where dragons are still worshipped. The dragon's breath meets the breath of Yeshua, and the seas remember their creator. The waters rise as witnesses, and the sea gives up its dead. While the world provokes the deep with war, the Father releases his own current, the living waters that cleanse and awaken. Everything that moves, wherever the rivers go, will live. But the elitists twist even this, weaponizing fear, turning oceans into tools of control, merging technology and sorcery to write their own flood without the ark. Yet the deep still answers to his voice. For then I will restore to the peoples a pure language. From beyond the rivers of Cush, my worshippers shall bring my offering. From plains to coasts, the banner is lifted, not of empire, but of renewal. The eastern gate opens, Eden restored. The humble remnant gathers, walking by the full moon calendar, resting in obedience. Their inheritance is peace. Their mark is upon the heart and the hand, to know and to do his will. Two brothers, two histories, one destiny. From the furnace of history, two remnants rise, the purified of Esau and the returning 12 tribes of Jacob. Once divided by rivalry, they now unite beneath the banner of covenant love. Judgment births mercy. Division becomes union. From the sanctuary flows the river of life, bright as crystal. On either side rise the olive trees, Jew and Gentile restored, branches intertwined. Each bears 12 fruits for 12 tribes. The leaves bring healing to the nations. Beneath the roots rests the ark, no longer hidden but alive. Its law is written upon hearts, its manna restores times and seasons, its rod blossoms again. When the rift opens, the waters will run clear, from Mount Kenya to the Indian Ocean, from Ethiopia to the southern gates. This is not the end, but cleansing. The spirit of the great I Am will again walk with man, as in Eden, face to face. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of his glory, as the waters cover the sea. Open the scriptures for yourself and let your heart be taught by the Heavenly Father, not by tradition, but by His Spirit of truth. Coming next, Part 2, The Earth's Prophecy in Stone. Music credit to Prosper Ochimana, song entitled Out of My Belly.